How is Anne Arundel County Food Bank partnering with Anne Arundel County Public Schools? Next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to have a guest from the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. Leah Paley is the Chief Executive Officer, and she's here to tell us all about the food bank. Welcome to Food for Thought.
Thank you, Jodi. I'm so excited to be here.
Great. Can you, Leah, just share with the viewers a little bit about yourself? What do you do in Anne Arundel County?
Sure. Thank you. Well, thanks again for having me. I have been with the Anne Arundel County Food Bank as CEO for 2.5 years. And prior to that was in another nonprofit as executive director, have been a lifelong lover of nonprofit work and volunteering, have worked in nonprofits since I came out of college, and just really am very committed to serving my community. Actually received my master's in social work, and prior to that was working as an AmeriCorps Vista. So volunteer in service to America. It's definitely in my heart, and that's actually what brought me to Maryland to begin with. And that was straight out of college. I graduated from Providence College in 2005. So you can do the math and guess my age, but I won't say it out loud. But I grew up in upstate New York, from Albany, and come from a wonderful family, and we did a lot of volunteering. And I remember as a child going to the local food bank with my Girl Scout troop, or doing a food collection in my neighborhood. So those are memories that really stick out to me still, and are things that I try to instill in my own children. I'm a mom of 2. My kids are 11 and 8 almost, and they're Anne Arundel County Public School students. And yes, they love their school. We love their school. They have fantastic teachers, a great community, and we've been proud Anne Arundel County residents for 8 years. Wow.
And you could tell it's just in your soul, right? It's in your heart that you love what you do. And I can remember when you first started. I think you were only at the food bank a very short time, and you were already reaching out. And it was, with us in food service and with Department of Health. So it was so funny. It was very early on. I was like, wow, I think we're going to get along just perfectly. It'll be interesting to see how our paths can just, align and do what's right for the community.
Yes. I feel very fortunate for people like yourself and our friends at the Department of Health, Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families, the county government, so many passionate individuals who are so committed, not just to food access, but so many important causes. And I feel like we've established really strong partnerships with yourself and others. And it's just been phenomenal to work with you.
It's neat just to be able to pick up the phone, right? It's like, I don't know, it's almost like you're a sister, right? Like it just believes that we believe like we work for each other, right?
Yes.
We just share the role, and we say the same thing about all those other agencies as well. So it's awesome. So for the viewers, you're the Chief Executive Officer. It sounds like, wow, what could that entail? Like, what's your day look like? And what's that role at the food bank?
Every day is different. And I think that's one of the things I love most about my job. I love the variety. I love the interaction, not only with my colleagues inside the office, but the opportunity to engage regularly with partners like yourself. I get the opportunity to engage with our pantry partners. So those individual groups that we are working directly with to distribute the food to our community. Sometimes we're having the opportunity to go out and directly distribute food to the community, and I feel grateful that I've been able to be a part of that as well. I'm interacting regularly with our board of directors, which oversees, from a governance standpoint, the organization, and get to work with a variety of consultants on fundraising and human resource related activities, grant writing. So, truly every day is different, but it's about ensuring that our day-to-day operations are in place, that they're effective, and then working to support my managers and their teams to ensure that, the work that we do continues in a very streamlined and efficient way.
And I think it's so prominent, just the role that the county food bank has now, right? I think it is a part of the community, and everybody knows, right? So I think you've done a really, really nice job with that, of just the promotion of what it is, the service and what you provide to the communities, everybody understands it and everybody knows to come to you, right? And look for that guidance or look for that help. So it's really, I think you've put the Anne Arundel County Food Bank in just a great resource and a great position for all of the communities.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. And that's definitely something that when I came into the organization was charged with taking a closer look at how can we do a better job of marketing the food bank in a way that it raises the awareness of what we do. And this is, about so many things. Yes, it's about fundraising, but it's also about ensuring that people who need food know about the places that they can go to get the food that they need. It's about creating advocacy opportunities, educational opportunities for people who want to do more for their neighbors experiencing food insecurity. So it definitely has been something that not only myself, but members of my team have prioritized so that we could improve how we're marketing ourselves so that when you see our logo, that's the Anne Arundel County Food Bank and here's the amazing things that they're doing. So I definitely believe that over the last 2.5 years, we have made tremendous progress. I do think that the COVID pandemic shined a spotlight on so many issues, including food insecurity and how so many of the residents, not only in Anne Arundel County, but across the country, were vulnerable to being just one paycheck away from having to go to a food pantry and stand online. And so many people who had never done that before found themselves there. So it did offer us an opportunity. We look at it as a silver lining to raise awareness about the work that we're doing and that our partners are doing with us to get the food out the door, and then what people can do to get involved so that we can make systems level change.
Right. And I think that's one of our similarities during COVID and the pandemic, right? I think school meals have always been around. It's always been breakfast and lunch. We do dinner in some schools. We do snack in some schools, and we always do summer meals. But during the pandemic, it was breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, all at the curbside. And it was so many families that were coming forward saying this really had made such a difference for that family, right? That there wasn't a paycheck. Or like you said, it was, the last paycheck that they had for that month. It was an opportunity for us to really showcase what we do, showcase the food that we offer and how healthy it is, and really have tons of students that might have been like, I don't really think I want school lunch. All of a sudden they were like, that's great.
Yeah.
I think I want it again. And when they came back, it's very interesting because now they're all eating school meals with us.
Yes.
So definitely, not negative, but definitely an opportunity for us to expand both of our horizons.
And we were so thrilled at the food bank that during the pandemic, there was the opportunity for all students to access free food at school, whether it was when people were having to go to school from home and they could show up at the school and get those meals, whether it was, during the classroom hours when we were back in school over the summer at certain locations. It is absolutely essential. I know you know this better than me, for those students to get a well-balanced diet, to have those meals every single day so that they can go to school ready to learn and not be sitting in the classroom thinking about their next meal. And we all know what that can lead to long term. We're thinking about, not only the behavioral health issues that may occur within the school, but also the long-term health impacts of not having a healthy, nutritious diet.
Right. And their ability to learn, right? That's all we want to do is, how do we have our students belong, right? How can they grow? And then how can they succeed? Yeah. I mean, that's really, we can touch all those pieces and have that comfortable place being in the schoolhouse. So it really does. Very unfortunate, but we feel very fortunate that we were able to, provide what we did. And really on the nutrition education, I know we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but how do we get students to come into school and be excited about fruits and vegetables, right?
Yeah.
And how when they're at, picking up items from the food pantry, how do they get excited about fruits and vegetables?
Yeah.
I think it says so much about who we are and what we do in Anne Arundel County. And we're really good, I think, at that exposure, that nutrition education piece of it, and having students excited, or, it doesn't even have to be students. It's really all ages excited about fruits and vegetables.
Yeah, and which is tough. I mean, there's definitely some things working against us. We won't name those individuals and groups, but it can be a challenge because, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying something that has meaning to your family, your culture, to you as an individual. There's nothing wrong with an unhealthy snack every now and again, but I think it's so easy for for all of us, but especially individuals living in areas with low food access, to turn to the heavily processed foods, the packaged foods. They're more affordable. They might not have a grocery store in their community. So when we're thinking about for our pantry distributions or what is distributed through the Backpack Buddies, we want to have a combination of things that are easy for a child, or else, depending on what someone's living situation may be, easy for them to make a meal, but still be thinking about how can we maximize the nutritional content of this package, but have it still be something they will in fact eat.
Yeah, and that they're going to like the taste of it, right? And to be able to put it together is key.
Yes.
Yeah. So how about a few more? And I think we've just talked about it like already so much, right? We're super excited, but core values. So like if somebody was watching, like what would be the core value? What is really the mission of the food bank? I mean, I think we talked about so many things, but what are they, just like in a, I guess, more succinct little nutshell, and then we can kind of go further with some more of our activities and some of our programming.
Sure, yes. And our food bank actually went through this wonderful process where we took a closer look at our mission just within the last year and a half, and made some updates to what our focus is, what is our purpose, and it is to alleviate food insecurity in Anne Arundel County by partnering across our community to obtain and distribute nourishing food to our neighbors experiencing food insecurity. Now that's a mouthful, but breaking it down, it is exactly what we do. It's about Anne Arundel County. It's about ensuring access. It's about partnership across the community with our pantries, with the school system, with so many other groups and individuals who are committed to ensuring food access. And then it's making sure that nourishing food gets to our neighbors who are experiencing food insecurity.
Yeah, and that's my favorite. I just love the nourishing your neighbors. I just think it could be the tagline, right? I just love when I see it. And I just think it's so warm and welcoming, and it encompasses the whole core mission of what you do. So very well done.
Yes. Well, thank you. It definitely, we have some wonderful minds on our team and on our board, and it truly was a joint effort to get where we got, but I think everyone was extremely pleased. We also partner regularly with other food banks and other pantries, sharing best practices, and we were really fortunate. It was a hunger symposium that Maryland Food Bank held just about 2 years ago, where they were talking about use of the word neighbors. And I think it maybe actually came out of a book that is called Reinventing Food Banks and Food Pantries by Katie Martin, which I recommend anyone read if they haven't already. It's wonderful. But it's like thinking about how are we talking about the people that we're serving? If we're using words like client or, that can not necessarily have that warm feeling. Right. It's more sterile. It's not someone like us. It's us versus them, versus you think about neighbors. That could be the person next door.
Exactly.
And so I applaud the Maryland Food Bank and others who have adopted that language, and we chose consciously to adopt similar language, how we're speaking about the people we serve.
Oh, I love it. It's well done, and I would think anybody coming and anybody receiving any of the food items would feel the same way. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your team. I say it all the time. I'm the luckiest supervisor in any school food service program across the country. I have the best team anybody could ask for. I feel the same when we work with your team. I think the team is so dynamic. They are so cohesive as a group. Share a little bit about your team. How do you create that great team environment that you have? I mean, really, teamwork is a key. It's really a key ingredient for, I think, the success for both of our agencies. But definitely highlight some of your folks if you can, or just teams in general. I think you do an exceptional job with keeping it so united and so collaborative at the food bank.
Well, thank you for that. It really means a lot, because it wasn't something that happened overnight. It's not as if I showed up at the food bank and all of a sudden we had this amazingly cohesive team that was all on the same page. It took a lot of hard work, and especially as someone coming in outside the organization, external, into a team where there were individuals who had been there for a while. Like any situation it would raise some suspicion, some concern. So it took time. I mean, it took building trust, building relationships, and, having appropriate boundaries, of course, but making it clear, like, I'm here to support the organization. I'm here to support you. I want to hear from you. You are a valuable contributing member. And I think that's probably one of the biggest pieces for me. Like, I would think the same way when I'm on a team. When someone's, what do you think? And not just what do you think, but incorporating some of what I think when appropriate. Okay, I'm valuable. I matter. Like, I make an impact here, and they notice that. And I feel quite confident that everyone on the team that we have today believes that. And it really, truly makes a difference because people show up for one another. They know that I will go above and beyond to support them, and I know they'll do the same. And so it truly has made a difference, and we are in such a wonderful place as a team. I mean, it doesn't mean everything is always perfect. It never is, right. But we're able to have conversations with one another if there's something that presents, but it's about how you approach one another. One of our core values as an organization is respect. So I've got to give it to get it. So if someone has a performance issue or I have a concern about something, it's how I approach that. Like, help me understand this. Like, I want to walk through this, and I don't have all the answers, and so I think people appreciate that approach. That it's about, like, let's solve this together. This is not, let's put you down and make you feel bad. Like, we're here for the same reason. We care about the work we do, and trying to find that solution.
Yeah, and you can see it. You can see it with all of your members. You could see it when you're at the food bank. Just being there. And I think it's been months, I guess, ago where a few of us came out.
Yes,
and just seeing it all, you could just see everybody cared for each other and really wanted to make the best impact, right? Most favorable that they could. And I think it does. It is relationships. It takes some time, but you clearly have painted that picture very well. And it's just a joy to work with all of your team members.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I enjoy coming to work every day. I really do. I mean, I know sometimes I just need a few more minutes sleep, but I enjoy the interactions that I have, the conversations. And I think one thing that as a manager, as a leader, is always in the back of my mind is, like, I don't have to know everything. That's not what it is to be a leader. It's surrounding yourself with individuals who might know more than you on a topic and utilizing them for their expertise, right. And learning as I go along as well. So I truly feel like I've got some fantastic leaders, whether they be in a manager position or not, that have the expertise, that have the passion and the commitment.
Yeah, and it just grows the program, right? It just grows 100%. All of the resource that you can do. So that's great. Yeah. Partnerships are super. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. We've been partners on things before. We are partners right now on a few initiatives. Talk about some of your partners and how does the food bank look to secure partners? So in school food service, we definitely have manufacturers, we have brokers, we have a lot of nonprofit agencies that we work with all the time, but we're always doing the same thing. We're always like looking what's out there. Is there another resource? Is there another agency? Is there another organization that has a similar interest that we can benefit and ultimately our students benefit?
Yeah.
Who are some of your partners? How do you look to grow those? What if somebody's watching and they say, I want to be a partner with the Anne Arundel Food Bank? What do they do?
Well, great question. And, I'll just distinguish two different types of partnerships. So we have our network pantry partners. And so those are the partners that are first and foremost distributing food, although we do have a few partners that are maybe just distributing some of the essential supplies like diapers and baby formula and food. But that partnership is different and unique than, when I think about how can we maximize our impact? How can we look to others who are either doing something similar or maybe doing something that complements us. So that may be someone like the health department, and they're kind of in a dual position where the local health department has their food pantry in the Brooklyn Park area, but we also partner with them on a variety of initiatives. But we have some groups like I think about BWMC, and we have forged a really great path and partnership with them and come together on, how do we ensure access, especially for individuals in the community surrounding where their hospital is, and how do we come together to meet the needs. So with our recently launched mobile pantry program for our Brooklyn Park distributions, the the BWMC folks have offered to come out, and they did free flu shots and blood pressure checks.
Or different screenings,
Exactly.
right?
And so we've also had conversations with the Community Action Agency, and we've had conversations with the library about how do we partner together on some of these initiatives so that it helps our neighbors who are accessing these service. They don't have to move from location to location to location to access 3 different things. They can show up at the Brooklyn Park Library, and we know our friends from the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families will be there, and the Department of Social Services will have the caseworker there that day to help people sign up for benefits. They can come out the door and then get in line for the mobile pantry. So it's thinking about how do we offer a holistic approach. There's that piece, the advocacy piece as well. I know that you and I are both on the Food Council. We're regularly participating in other coalitions with our friends at Maryland Hunger Solutions and other groups who are doing really important advocacy work at the either local, state, or even federal level. So there's definitely different ways to get involved.
Yeah, and internal and external partners, we always talk about that. And then, I mean, you've taken it even the step further because you do have your partners that are the pantries.
Yes.
Which is, again, vast. There was, how many pantries again? It's like
76 pantries operating across 115 distribution points.
That's just huge.
It's a lot. I mean, and our county it's pretty big geographically, but that is a significant number. And we regularly look at, because it's not just about like, let's add pantries, let's just keep adding them. It's where are they needed most? Where is there low food access? Where is there not enough grocery stores offering fresh, affordable food? Where aren't there enough existing pantries, and the pantries that are in those communities maybe are operating over capacity? So as new partners are thinking about coming on, we look at where there are those gaps. So we're actually adding 4 now, and they're in locations like Lothian, Linthicum Heights, and Laurel. Not just because they start with an L, but those are all communities where we did not have a huge number of pantries in existence, and we know those to be areas where there is a higher level of individuals living below the poverty line or below the ALICE threshold. And so we look at those factors when we're thinking about adding to our partner network.
Yeah, that's actually, so we do so much of it with school meals, right, too, and that's how we decide, where summer meals are, where do we put a dinner program. So again, so many similarities, and I think we know that they're there, and I think we know that we're constantly together with all these different committees and our council for sure. But it's funny, hearing it out loud today just really, I don't know, it cements it even more. Right?
100%.
Like, I was like, wow, it's really a lot more togetherness than anything different, right?
Which is so important.
Right.
That partnership, the not duplicating effort is essential. I know that you and our friends at the health department and partnership were all groups that we came to as we were considering the launch of our mobile pantry program. Why reinvent the wheel and go through all the data if there is such data and the expertise to back it up from all of these different agencies? To have those conversations. What are you seeing? Where are you going? How are you doing this, so that we can learn from you and hop on the bandwagon and be part of the effort?
Right. And we've even talked, right? How do we do a mobile pantry that we already have mobile summer meals, right? We already know. So the communities have been coming out for, I don't know, we've been doing mobile meals, I think, for like probably 15 or more years.
Wow. Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's really, I mean, it would be a great tie-in. And I know years ago, it was the Department of Health worked with us, and we worked with one of our local farmers. And we said, how could we, so it was so much what you already have, the mobile food pantry, but we said to the local farmer, how can we put bags of produce together that's local, that when our students come to the summer meal site, we can just give them the bag. Department of Health secured the funding for us. And it was a great, great initiative. But our farmer was the person who was coming out. Yeah. So he was going, it was Mr. Schlegel out of...
yes, who we utilize as well. Yes.
So he's one of our favorite. We use him all the time. So he's like, I'm just going to follow. So he followed, our summer meals van, which was so awesome.
Yes.
But then, unfortunately, without the funding, we didn't have a way to pay him to keep that up. But he's such a supporter, right?
Yes. And we want to support local. And there's a few other farms. Wildcat Acres is one of them. And there is a, local wholesaler that we also purchase from. So as much as possible, which, when you think about the food system, I think often it's easy to overlook that piece unless you're in the space of farming or food production. And so those are really important components, and we want to support local to help our own local economy.
Right. Yeah, and it's great, like to be able to look at Mr. Schlegel or be at his kitchen table, which I know we've been many times, and just trying to decipher like what else can we buy for school meals and what can he do for our summer meals. And you get to, you build the relationship with his family and you get to know his children and his wife. It's just, it's amazing what it really does, for the community and for Mr. Schlegel, and his extended family. As a registered dietitian, nutrition education is always so key for us. So we feel when we offer our students all the fruits and vegetables that we do, there's also that piece of nutrition education. So we want our students to go through the line and say, we had cauliflower today and we loved it. Yeah. So they'll go home and maybe say to mom or dad, I would really love cauliflower. I had it at school lunch today. It was really good. How do you look at the nutrition education? It's always National Nutrition Month is once a year. It's a big to-do. For dietitians, we get super excited over this month and we say, let's celebrate all of these great healthy items. How's the food bank look at nutrition education?
Yeah, I love this question, not just because Nutrition Month is coming up, but it's essential. I mean, when we think about the importance of diet and how that impacts your health and starting early, it is first and foremost essential for us as a food bank to be considering that as we're thinking about how do we distribute the food that we have to our partners to support our neighbors experiencing food insecurity. So we definitely have emphasized purchasing a variety of fresh produce, lean proteins, healthier shelf-stable items. So we have been fortunate over the last several years to have a rather robust budget to support our purchase of food. And all of it's distributed for free. So we heavily rely on that funding, which comes from a variety of means. But and we've been fortunate to be able to continue that up until now and hopefully next year as well. But that allows us to buy quite a bit. And our purchasing power is significant. We can buy those things at wholesale prices, get lots of fruits and vegetables and get them out. And then we actually survey our neighbors and our partners once a year and ask,
what are they looking for?
Yes.
Too, right?
Do you want to see more of what? And we're, is this meeting, from a culturally responsive standpoint, are we meeting your needs? From a nutrition standpoint, from your ability to shift your expenses to focus on other essentials like your housing, does this free up that by providing these items? So we're constantly looking at that. So that's with our neighbors. When it comes to how do we educate people supporting our mission, because we do receive a lot of food donations from the community, AACPS being one of our major players with food donations every year, the Harvest for the Hungry campaign. So we're trying to educate our food donors about what to offer to us that are healthier. So we've launched a Drive to Thrive, and we've put out information about what to look for to ensure a product has low sodium, low sugar, low fat. And I think there's so much importance in the educational component of just putting that out there and then encouraging our donors to support. It's not just about, let me see what I have in my cabinet and throw that in the bag and give that to the food bank. It's, what would you want to eat? What, if you're making healthy choices, do you want your neighbors to be making those same healthy choices and considering those factors when donating?
Yeah, and I think even probably more beans and legumes, right? There's just so much more of that. And I'm sure years ago, right, maybe that wouldn't be considered, it would be like, well, what am I going to do with that? And now I think it's just, it's so more readily available for all families. And I think, all the neighbors probably taking advantage of those items as well.
100%. And I love the educational piece to our Drive to Thrive initiative. It's helping to educate everyone. And we listed a whole bunch of, by category, these are types of fruits, these are types of proteins, and those beans and legumes are on that list. And I really do hope it empowers the individuals who support us to give differently in a conscious way. I know that our friends at the United States Naval Academy, the Midshipman Action Group, who've supported us for many, many years, have actually done a Drive to Thrive. They were kind of the launch point and ended up donating over 20,000 pounds of healthier shelf-stable items.
Wow. Well, thank you. We are out of time.
Oh, my goodness.
It was so great. We can come back and do a show anytime. So you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, Anne Arundel County Food Bank and Anne Arundel County Public Schools are definitely together and collaborating on making healthy choices for all of our neighbors. If you have any questions about the school meals program, please call me at 410-222-5900. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.